All right, let's talk about something that every single creative person has faced, writer's block. We're going to go beyond just the frustrating feeling, though. We're going to dive into the actual science of why our brains get stuck and, way more importantly, how we can get them unstuck. You know the feeling, right? You sit down, ready to work, and nothing. Just a blank page, a blinking cursor that feels like it's mocking you, and this total sense of paralysis. It's awful. But what if I told you that feeling isn't some personal failure? What if it's just a predictable and preventable process happening inside your brain? So, to understand why things break down, we first have to look at how they're supposed to work. I mean, where do our best ideas even come from? Turns out there's a specific part of your brain that's basically running a 24/7 idea factory. And here it is. Meet the hero of our story, the default mode network, or DMN for short. Now, the interesting thing is, this network lights up when you're not trying to focus. It's those aha moments you get in the shower, or when you're out for a walk, or just zoning out. That's your DMN, your built-in creative engine doing its thing. Think of the DMN as your brain's background processor. It's constantly sifting through your memories, imagining different futures, and even trying to figure out what other people are thinking. But its real superpower, it connects ideas that seem totally unrelated, and boom, that's where you get something new. It's the raw material for pretty much all creativity. Okay, so if we've all got this incredible idea factory in our heads, why does it sometimes just grind to a halt? What is actually going on when we hit that wall and feel totally blocked? Well, first, let's be clear on what we're talking about. Researchers define writer's block as an inability to create. And the key part is this: it has nothing to do with a lack of skill or a lack of trying. So let's get this straight from the jump. This isn't about being lazy or not being good enough. It's a real state of being stuck. And what causes it? Well, a study back in 2019 found something pretty surprising. We tend to blame things like perfectionism or procrastination, but look at this. A massive 42% of writer's block comes from physiological factors. We're talking stress, fatigue, just being plain worn out. It's your body sending a signal way before your mind gives up. And that number one cause, physiological stress, that's the real key. Because when your body feels stressed, your brain thinks it's under threat. And that's when these internal saboteurs, these forces that work directly against our creative impulses, come out to play. First up, there's a force that author Steven Pressfield famously called resistance. He describes it as this universal thing that just does not want you to create anything new. It's that voice that tells you to check your email or suddenly clean the kitchen or that you're just too tired. It will do anything to stop you from doing the work. Now, resistance often has an accomplice, and this one might sound familiar. The inner critic. This is that little voice in your head that judges every idea the second you have it. You know, the one that says, "That's dumb," or "Who are you to try this?" It takes helpful self-awareness and cranks it up until it becomes crippling self-doubt. And it's really important here to know the difference between a creative block and full-on burnout. A block is usually about a specific project. You feel stuck, but you still want to be creative. Burnout? That's a deeper kind of exhaustion. It hits every part of your life, and often that desire to create just vanishes. They feel similar, but you have to treat them differently. So we know who the saboteurs are, but how do they actually flip the switches in our brain to cause a total shutdown? Let's zoom in on the neuroscience and see exactly what's happening. So you're staring at that blank page, and you feel that fear of failure, right? The inner critic is whispering in your ear. Well, your brain registers that as a genuine threat. And in response, the prefrontal cortex, your brain's self-monitoring center, goes into total overdrive. Your inner critic has basically just grabbed the controls. And here's the chain reaction, the shutdown sequence. Step 1, your brain perceives a threat. Step 2, your analytical brain, that prefrontal cortex, kicks into high gear, analyzing everything. And step 3, all of that intense self-monitoring puts so much pressure on the system that it silences the default mode network. Your idea factory simply cannot run with a micromanager looking over its shoulder. Okay, so if getting blocked is a predictable brain process, then getting unblocked isn't about some magical flash of inspiration. It's about running a few smart, strategic plays to get that factory back online. Strategy number 1, you have to lower the stakes. If the fear of failing is what's shutting you down, you need to make the task so small that failure is basically impossible or just doesn't matter. Don't try to write a chapter. Write one sentence. Don't plan a whole film. Just write one line of dialogue. Make it so small that your brain's alarm system doesn't even bother going off. Next up, let's deal with that feeling of being completely overwhelmed. That feeling is usually just a tangled mess of thoughts in your head. So the trick is to get it out of your head. Write down every single problem, every question you have. The second you put it on paper, you take its power away. You turn this big, scary monster in your mind into a simple, manageable checklist.
This one is a big mindset shift. Stop focusing on the final result. Thinking about getting published or winning an award just creates this insane amount of pressure that feeds procrastination. Instead, try to find the joy in the process itself. The satisfaction of crafting a really good sentence or solving a tricky problem. Let the work be its own reward.
And finally, you have to actively manage that inner critic. The best way to do this is to create separation. Never, ever try to create and edit at the same time. Give yourself permission to just be messy and imperfect in a first draft. Seriously, set a timer for 25 minutes where judgment is completely banned. Your only job is to make stuff. This creates a safe space for your creative brain to work. Now, those are all great strategies, but they all support one simple, incredibly powerful rule. A rule that's all about building unstoppable momentum so that the idea factory never stays shut down for long. And it's this, the no 0 days rule. It's simple. The goal is to never, ever let a day end where you did absolutely zero toward your creative goal. And a non-zero day can be ridiculously small. We are talking about just 1 minute of effort. Write a single sentence, find one photo for inspiration, send one text message to someone you're working with. The amount doesn't matter at all. It's the consistency. It's about proving to yourself every single day that you're still moving forward. And that really brings us to the most important reframe of all. When you find yourself procrastinating, remember this. It's not a character flaw. You're not lazy. Procrastination is just your brain's weird, clumsy attempt to avoid a negative feeling, like fear or anxiety or boredom. Seeing it that way changes the game. The question isn't, why am I so lazy? It's, what feeling am I trying to run away from right now? At the end of the day, writer's block isn't a life sentence. It's just a signal. It's your brain telling you that you need to change your approach. And now that you get the science behind it, you can stop fighting yourself and start working with your brain's natural creative flow. So your next great idea is out there waiting for you. What's one tiny, non-zero step you're going to take to go meet it?